made those flanges.
Yeah, you did.
But the only broach I had was 1 3/8, so it's like the exact size of the port. So
They line up.
So far.
How's the hole feel?
Very good. A little bit of room. Flanges look nice on it.
yeah, let's mark it and tack it. I just do one section at a time. You just do a witness line and take it over to the bench and line up the marks and then tack it. Do you want me to show you how to do it?
Sure.
Okay. So I'll hold it, so Patrick, come over here and just draw a line straight across the joint. That's all you need to do. Take it over there and tack it. Just like that. Easy peasy. So we just line up that mark we made and tack it. I'm just checking to see how everything clocks in. These bends are a little bit off, so I need to like cut this one and re-tack it so it jives better. You can see they don't line up that good. And you can take I usually take like a body hammer and I can like tap them so the joints fit, but then it usually kind of makes it like seagull shaped, you know, it'll dip in where the weld is. So it's best to get them totally aligned. I'm just fitting it, you know, removing a little bit of material and maybe beveling it a little bit just to get the gaps all perfect so everything lines up, you know, so when we weld it, there's no gap. I think people are going to be pissed that we did a nice set of stainless tube headers on an old 1940s flathead motor because it's like not traditional or whatever, but a stainless TIG welded bitchin' exhaust system is the best kind of exhaust you can get. So to run something that works just for the sake of being old school or something like that, I just won't do it.
Jesse and I go back and forth. He comes from like faster, bigger, cooler, stronger, and I come from like in a box of things that, you know, tradition. And Jesse thinks I'm dumb for that. But it's a good mix. It's very interesting to bounce things back and forth with him because it you know, I mean, both of us we'll end up with something really special in the end because it's we both kind of have to go out of our box to get there, you know. He's pretty smart, you know, and it's hard not to let that rub off on you. I think I've learned a lot, and more than he would know that he's taught me that.
Well, Bob is kind of the anchor of the shop. You know, he kind of does most of the framework and stuff like that. And he's real savvy with hot rods.
I had my own shop in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I worked with my dad. I grew up with hot rods. I mean, I have a Roadster that him and my uncle built in the 50s, and it's been in my family, so I've never not been around hot rods. And we're trying to take what people have done, mix it around, and put our stamp on it, trying to do things that no one's ever seen before, but in a familiar way, you know, and kind of take it to a level that, you know, we're not even, you know, we're just trying to raise the bar constantly. This is a 32 Ford 3-window coupe. It's kind of the holy grail of hot rods, and I've been obsessed with hot rods since I was a little kid. These cars have gotten so crazy valuable that they're just untouchable for the average guy. You can't even find one, much less afford it when you do. So me, I'm not rich, but I'm pretty resourceful. So I've spent the last several years buying, selling, trading, and I've had, this is like, I think my 5th one, but this is by far the best one, so I think I finally got it. But it's pretty exciting. I'm gonna build it for myself. It's gonna have that engine actually. It's a 53 Cadillac engine with a blower. It's all Krager driven blower. It's all, you know, really traditional old stuff. There won't be anything on the car newer than 1958 when I'm done. So it'll be like a mean little street racer.
I think we have a really good crew here. I'm on a first name basis with everyone. I don't want to get any bigger. I want to stay small and work on these 4 or 5 guys that want to learn right now. So,
and that's what's great about these guys, Luke and Patrick. I mean, they're brilliant for being so young, but they're not even started yet.
Yeah, now we've tacked everything up, and so we're getting ready to do the final weld all the way around it. This is the point where you'd want to start back purging, or at least get your whole setup going. Basically what I'm doing is I'm hooking up another argon line that's going to go inside the pipe, and it's going to fill the pipe with argon, so I'm going to cap off both ends. When you weld, argon comes out of the nozzle and allows the weld to solidify in an inert environment. And so when you pump argon on the inside of the weld can also solidify in an inert environment. So it's like the purest form of penetration you can get when you weld. It'll make the weld on the inside look like it does on the outside instead of all like popcorny and gross looking. It'll also make it a lot stronger. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cap off both ends with this aluminum tape. And then sometimes people use like metal plugs or rubber plugs. The rubber plugs might melt away if it gets too hot, and then all your argon leaks out and it makes a big mess. But yeah, I'll cap off both ends, and then I'll poke a hole in one of these and run the line in there and then tape that off. When you back purge the weld, it just makes it a lot stronger, and you're like guaranteed to have good, perfect penetration with it if you actually get the weld hot enough. It's pretty beneficial, especially for like turbo setups, high heat applications where turbos, the manifolds get a lot hotter than regular headers would because there's more back pressure inside the headers, so the heat stays in there for longer. This just makes sure it's going to be as strong as it can possibly be, so these 2 pieces of metal actually become like one. Yeah, I have a project car. It's not really anything that we would do here though. It's like a 86 944 turbo, trying to make it into like basically a street legal race car, like full roll cage and everything. We used to go out and do the street races or whatever, and then we got in a real big car wreck. We rear-ended a parked car going 110, and we flipped like 9 times, and I didn't have a seatbelt on. It's kind of a miracle that we all walked away from it. And so now I'm like kind of out of going fast and stuff. Or at least when other people are driving.
This side's ready to go. Whenever you want to weld it, knock yourself out.
I think it's a craft that isn't going to be around forever. Just the whole way people do it, the materials used, style, and hopefully like we can keep doing it, or you know, that's what I try to do, is just kind of keep the older mentality with it and make more handmade parts. And it's such a cool process. It's something you can be proud of. It's cool getting to do this, just being around someone that's better than you.
I grew up watching them. That's kind of what really like triggered the spark for the cars and the motorcycles. It's really watching all those shows, because you just grow up in some town or whatever, you don't get to see cool cars and all that all the time. I think it was Bob was sitting in here like, man, why doesn't some kid just walk like they really needed an intern, someone to help out? Like, why isn't some kid just like walking off the street or something like that? Like, what the hell? Like, why can't we find an awesome kid to just be our intern?
Right as I got done saying that, this kid, long hair, you know, hippie kid, walks in. Actually, I shouldn't call him a hippie. He doesn't like that. He walks in. He's like, oh, I got off the wrong bus stop and I saw that van.
Just somehow randomly heard this loud ass car coming by. I thought it was gonna be some cool ass old car. I looked by and it's just like a shop van. It says speed shop on it.
So I walked here and I just thought I needed to come here, and
ended up interning. Did that for a while, sweeping the floors, cleaning the toilets.
within the week of him being here, one of the other partners showed up and he's like, who's that kid? And I'm like, oh, that's Alex. And he's like, huh. And he's like, where'd he come from? I'm like, he just showed up. He's like, must be magic.
Nobody even knew my first name until my friends started coming and asking for me. So it's kind of rad.
He had already taken a bunch of welding classes and a bunch of kind of tech classes, so he knew his way around working metal.
The welding and the metal work I kind of have already been doing for a while, dude. Every day, instead of like going and playing with friends or doing weird stuff, all I would do is go in my garage and build. Just got real good at welding when I was like 11, 12, so had my first little MIG welder. Made a little mini chopper, dude, out of 50 and whatnot.
Shortly after him sweeping the floors, one of the guys got injured, and a job that needed to get done we didn't have anyone else, so we put magic on it, and he just nailed it. So ever since then, he's just turned into a tech. So he went from being a floor sweeper kid to magic within a few months.
A lot of things you do in life, it's real hard to get like a solid reward out of it and something that you can use and like appreciate in front of your face. And it's the same with all these cars. It's just like you do a badass weld and then you get to look at it and then some guy goes get to haul ass around and use it up.